Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. It is Thursday, July 9th, 2026. We are past the halfway mark of the work week, smack dab in the middle of the week overall, and I hope that you've all been having a good one so far. We didn't stream yesterday, but we had a great stream on Tuesday, July 7th, my birthday. It was a lot of fun seeing you all here, and I just wanted to say thank you again for being here. Let's get this stream going. Open up the pop-out chat and see who's here this fine morning. I've got a new gaming history video up on the channel. Let me know if you could hear me too. I could hear myself. I think I sound clear. But tell me if the audio is good and such. Because usually I'm not listening to myself. I just did an audio check and it seemed fine. But alrighty, here we go. iByzantium is here. Saying hi. Hi, iByzantium. But before iByzantium came, it was J Biggs, Mr. NY for Life, actually, as the first person here. So, welcome, J Biggs, Mr. NY for Life. War Scene 84, also here early, saying, how are you today? I'm doing well so far, thank you. Thank you for asking, War Scene. How are you doing? J Biggs, what's up, Paul? What's up, J Biggs? Again. It's been a pretty good morning so far. Productive for what it's worth. You know, it's just an early day, so I have yet to master the day and unlock all of the potential of what it could entail, but so far, pretty productive, pretty fun. Got in some Star Fox, although I guess, well, yeah, that was last night, technically into midnight, so you know, not the day's start, but the old day's end. I was playing some Star Fox. Seems to be the trend. I'll play randomly throughout the day, but then I find myself late night, like 11:50 into 12:30 in the morning, getting in another little bit of Star Fox fun. It's just great. What's up with you, J Biggs? Xeno Hope 5 is here. Hi, Paul. Hi, Xeno Hope 5. David Patterson is in the house. Welcome, David Patterson. Saying good afternoon, Paul. Good afternoon to you as well. Xeno Hope, hope you had a great birthday. It was awesome. Thanks a lot, Xeno Hope. It was very memorable. Let's see. Paladin is in the house saying, good afternoon, Paul and Co. Good afternoon, Paladin. Did you do anything fun on your birthday? Yeah, Xeno Hope. Jeez. Boy, oh boy. Woke up in the morning. Get to see my family, which is the best. Went out to Chick-fil-A to redeem my breakfast free brownie, and then got some breakfast there, which I had some gift card left over. So I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize I had the gift card. So breakfast itself was, you know, knocked down several bucks. That's cool. Opened up a couple of presents, had some like cake ice cream, blew out some candles. I like to be productive on my birthday in multiple aspects. So this means not just fun playing, but I like to do a little bit of betterment stuff. So I worked on my abs, and my kids worked out with me. We had a martial arts session together, the three of us, so that was fun. I did chores around the house, like chores on your birthday? Yeah. I vacuumed, I dusted, I think I brushed the pool, although that was a nighttime activity, put dry dishes away, washed new dishes, organized around the house. My kids have these summer bridge books that prepare you for like the next grade up so that you don't go uh, soggy throughout the summer, that your brain still has some synapses firing and getting you prepared for the next grade. Went out with my family to a nearby Mexican restaurant, had some awesome street tacos, chips and salsa. Went to a store to pick up some sand and gravel for an outdoor backyard project that I'm working on a little bit each day just because it's hot and time consuming. I'm not burning myself out. Scratched some lotto tickets, won a little bit, got some more, kind of broke even. The lotto tickets were like a gift in the first place, though, so it's like, okay, well, you just kind of break an even. You could reinvest again, or just say, you know what, I'll just take the cash at this point, probably, which I'll do next. Went to some nearby mountains and went rock climbing and boulder hopping with my kids. Went swimming in the pool. Mm, My wife, son, daughter, and I went to Red Robin, had dinner. We went to the movie theater, and the four of us watched Supergirl, which was cool. Came back home, opened up some last presents. Like I said earlier in the evening, I uh, did like my last chore for the day, which was brushing the pool. Earlier was all the other stuff, like cracking ice cubes, making new ice cube trays, uh, putting dishes away, washing new dishes, putting those new dry dishes away. Uh, and then I went to the gym, got in another workout. Oh, on the mountain, the three of us did some more karate there from earlier. And then after the gym, finished off the night with some Star Fox. Oh, and one other point in the middle of the day, played some Star Fox multiplayer with my kid. So like that's a day, right? I like to be efficient on my birthday. I want to start off a new year doing as many of the things that I like that make me me. Play video games, exercise, martial arts, family time, superhero stuff, things with, wife, kids, parents, friends. Still made some gaming history videos. Of course, I had a stream on my birthday itself. This was like late morning, early afternoon, and that was really fun. It was my first ever birthday stream, and I wanted to do, the old stuff that has always been me on my birthday, but new stuff too, which is like, oh, in the last 11 months I've been streaming regularly. I wanted to make that a part of it. So that was my big, full birthday. Took a lot of fun pictures, helped lock in to preserve some of these memories. Yeah, and that's it. But that's a lot. Like that's everything I want to do. Play video games, go see a movie, have food, go eat. Have some snacks, be in the pool, go adventure, hiking, stuff like that. Chores. It's well rounded. I know that was a long talk, but you asked, so you got my answer. That's what I did on my birthday. You hear me fine, good. Happy belated birthday. Thank you, Ibzantium. Tabby Cat Games with the gifted membership. Thank you, Tabby Cat Games, for kicking the stream off. Heck yeah. Tabby Cat Games with the big $1 holla. Thank you, Tabby, for that awesomeness right there. Blue is the color of the month, but we've got your blue, unique to you, just a little bit different. I really appreciate that gifted membership. That brings us from 770 to 771. Super cool. And it went to Brady Goat 1252. Right on, right on, right on. Thank you, Tabby. Mattia is here. When is the next Pollinetta stream? I don't want to miss the next one. Xenohope. Soon. I don't have the date yet. I will let it be known early enough in advance. I will try to make it early enough of a heads up. Okay. Hmm. David saying, doesn't it feel good that we are getting older, younger, and wiser at our age? It's a blessing if you ask me. Older, younger, and wiser. Yeah, I guess all at the same time it's possible. Good afternoon. Sorry I am late. Actually, yeah. Tabby, you're fine on time, I think. I feel like my birthday response was the longest response, but if you came in anytime during that whole spiel, you're probably all right. So I don't think you're late. I think you're okay. Thank you though for being here. Xenohope 5. Nice. I'm glad that you're having a fun day. Thank you. Sounds like a good day. I miss boulder jumping. Yeah. Nothing too crazy, but there are some gaps in between, and you're high enough up. I do it safely. If I wasn't married, if I didn't have kids, probably the heights that I would climb and the leaps that I would take would be a little bit bigger because I know my comfort level, which is pretty comfortable when it comes to outdoor adventurous stuff. And I know my athletic ability, which matches the desire for fun. But being a husband, being a dad, you're not just living for yourself anymore. Then again, are you ever really living for yourself? Everyone hopefully has, well, until they pass, a mother and a father, right? So you don't want to let anybody down in life if you be reckless and, you know, take jumping and climbing too fun too far and get hurt. But like when you have a family of your own, definitely up goes the precaution level. But still, I had fun, just the little stuff. And, I'm very careful with my kiddos, letting them learn how to navigate, pull, push, climb, use their hands, fingers, you know, lean up against a rock, grab onto the stick, find out, is this root attached? Push down with that foot. Does that rock shake underneath? No? Good. Okay, good. So you're safe. We're good. And I'm always right there. I'm always right there to protect. Help get up, help get down. The right amount of literal hand holding and just, close proximity to observe, but to let them navigate a little bit because that kind of stuff helps out in life. If you don't watch or guardian over your kids at all, they will get too hurt in life and you will have traumatic things happen. If you never let go in any capacity, eventually, when they do get older to start doing things on their own, they will have no confidence and no ability to comprehend, can I do this on my own? And that's not great either. So you got to do the right thing as a parent of constantly watching, nurturing, guiding, but also knowing when to be a couple steps back to let them grow so that they can then become you plus a better version of you. You're a parent, though, Tabby. And to anyone else who's a parent here, David Patterson, I know you're a parent too. Yeah, there's a lot to raising kids as best as you can. I hope I enjoy my birthday once I'm a parent. If I ever have that privilege, I hate my birthday every year. LOL. I'm sorry you hate your birthdays, Hope. But I hope you do become a mom one of these days. I know you've shared that in the past on the stream, so sending you some positivity in those regards. Pokey91 is here. Hi, Pokey91. Roger Enyard is here. What's up, people? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday indeed, Roger. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. A lot of back and forth hellos to everyone. I like to see it. You make it any color you wish. Good to be here. Okay, Tabby. We got you that cayenne blue. I'm hoping I'm not working or doing anything during that time. We'll try to do our best with that Bayonetta stream. Mm, this past year has been hard. I don't do heights. Yeah, no worries. Like, hey, everyone's got their own comfort level. To anybody who's not comfortable with heights, don't push yourself. See, more people need to learn that. Family matters. My husband thankfully thinks of these things. That's good. I'm definitely afraid of heights. Same hope. Okay. Uh, Xeno Hope 5 and Poke91. How afraid of heights are you? Are you like, once I get to the second or third step on a ladder, I'm like, oh, or you're like, no, like a ladder's okay, but if I'm on top of a 10-foot tall roof and I'm looking over, I'm like, whoop, that's too much. Like, what level of afraid of heights are you at? If you want to share, it's always interesting. Like, everyone's got a fear, I would say. Yeah, most people. I don't know. Like spiders. There's the semi irrational fear. But then again, it could be rational for that individual. But I think a lot of people would say the semi irrational fear would be I'm sitting here in the game room and just the knowledge of probably in that back corner underneath the fence, there's a little spider web and there's probably a spider there like, 60 feet away. I'm terrified. Oh no. What if it does what if it does what? It's not gonna do anything, but some folks could have that like trouble them. And then there's the fear of spiders of like, oh my gosh, right now during streaming, like the spider came up in front of me and the air conditioning blew it back and forth and it landed on my nose. Ah, there's that, right? What level of fear do you have in your thing? I feel for the folks where or when the fear controls them. Like, that's tough. And then for them, oh, it is rational. Some folks can't admit that it's irrational, but the mind works in such interesting ways where a part of them could speak to the point of, yeah, I know it's irrational. I know it's not going to get me, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm so scared of it that I think it could. The brain defies the logic. And for folks that have that level, you've got my sympathy because that could be debilitating. And that's a hard thing to break. Yeah. Mm. Tabby says, I don't like heights either, Hope, but it is fun to climb and go from spot to spot. Never got to do the kind of climbing I wanted. Someday, maybe. Hopefully. To me, it just depends on how high level it is. I have strong views. Hey, Paul in chat. Hey, Carlton San. Welcome. JM Powers 83 says, Hi, Paul. Did Bayonetta wish you a happy birthday? If she did, you should yell at her. I think she's evil. I don't think I got a wish from Bayonetta on my birthday. No. If it's pretty high, then no. LOL. No spiders, please. I don't have fears of spiders. I went to a Yankee game once, sat in the last row of the upper deck, and felt like I was going to fall. I don't know if I'm afraid of heights, but I really don't want to go up that high again. Yeah. Like there's ranges to it. I'm a Super Mario Brothers fan. I'm going to make myself a Mario pool. And then there's like, yeah, I'm a Super Mario Bros. Fan. I'll buy a Mario t-shirt. How high of a fan are you? What kind of fan are you? I'm a Pokemon fan. I will buy every Pokemon game, plushie, Lego set. I've got a Pokeball tattoo right here. I know all the songs. I've watched all the episodes. I'm going to dress my kids up in Pokemon clothing, Pokemon diapers. I've got Pokemon posters. My dogs and cats are named after Pokemon. There's that kind of Pokemon fan. And then there's the I've played main entries. I buy a couple of the side spin-offs, and like I have a few shirts, you know? So you take that and you apply it to basically anything in life. How big of a fan of you are of this or that? How much do you dislike this or that? Us humans all come from the same source, but we're very different. But variety is a spice of life, right? See, I like these PGN lives because sometimes the conversations go very just real in the moment, and that's fun. Paladin says, I started playing Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition again, and it's been fun. If they ever go another HW, I hope it focuses on the whole series again. I'm fine on a plane, though, says JM Powers. They're the devil. Spiders? Oh, I'd throw my phone if a spider came down for you. Ah! That's pretty good. I have gotten better on planes now. I just hate the hassle of traveling. Plane height never bothered me. Yeah, yeah. See, there's different types of things within it, right? There's different layers to the height. There's like controlled height where you are stable in a human-made aircraft that's traveling a couple hundred miles per hour. All good. You're standing on a rickety 15-foot ladder, Jeff Hardy WWF style, and you're like, nope, right? But you won't see me bungee jumping or skydiving. Lurking, I take care of some things before the end of my workday. Nice, Carlton son. Nick Gamer is here. Hello, Nick Gamer. Welcome. David Patterson, being a husband and parent is a challenge and also a blessing. I would never trade it in the world. And Paul, you are right. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I am not that far, says Poking81. LOL. Same with Xenoblade and me. I am more like I love Pokemon and I love the older anime. With Pokemon, I love the anime. I'll be that mom who will watch it with my kids and sings the songs with them. I can't wait, LOL. TSA. What's up, Paul and friends? What's up, Charlie Smith? I believe there is an indie game about killing spiders with fire. Oh boy. You know what I found funny? I can't believe they did this. Like, I can't believe it. But in, gosh, in, oh boy, what is it called? Big Brain Academy, Nintendo Switch 2, or in Big Brain Academy for Nintendo Switch, that you could also get on Nintendo Switch 2, which is a really fun game. They have a mode. I chuckle a little bit because I'm like, they really did this? But they did. And that was a censored mode that if you want to put censored mode on when it comes to like depicting what animal it is or if it's a plane or a bus or whatever, it would take off the creepy crawlies, the octopus, the spider, the scorpion, the what like centipede and grasshopper and fly. It would take that kind of stuff off. And I'm thinking, really? But I guess Nintendo knows their audience well, and if this is a game catered to families, it's kind of cute overall. There's nothing graphic about it. Even those, uncovering images to decipher, well, is that a leopard or is that a tarantula? There are a decent amount of folks apparently that are scared enough of some of those things that in this cute game, now let's give an option to turn that off. I suppose it's different than, hey, you're getting a rated T for teen Zelda game, and there's going to be some scary bosses, kind of. There's going to be a little bit of animated blood. We're not going to take that away. Come on, you know what you're getting. But yeah, if there's a good amount of folks out there that are expected to be kids, youth. It's a softer type of title. I suppose it makes sense to, remove the creepy crawlies. For me, it doesn't bother me, but for some folks, it does. So it's just interesting to see. We'll develop our creative vision to do that. Hey, they're not eliminating it for everyone. They're just giving it as an option for some. Fair enough, right? Is Yvonne Francois here? I see Charlie saying hello to Yvonne. Did I say hi to Yvonne? Is Yvonne even here? Because I will say hi if I didn't already. Well, in case Yvonne Francois is here, hello, Yvonne Francois. I forgot if I said hi earlier or not. I believe it's called Kill It With Fire, if I remember right. That's funny. What Nintendo again, forgetting GameCube NSO exists. I'm pretty sure it'll come sooner or later. How is everyone here in the network family doing today, by the way? I am just appreciative of being here with you guys along the journey of gaming and life. Hope all here is well and good. Heck yeah, David Patterson. Bayonetta is mean. I was hanging out with her and her friend Jean. Jean was very nice and bought me ice cream. Well, that's very nice. Then Bayonetta took the ice cream from me and threw it on the ground. And sad, I can't eat ice cream. I can't believe that. I can't believe it. What's up, Aaron Cidio? Yes, I am still annoyed about the NSO drop. More so frustrated. Rhythm having groove sales explode. Haven't they shows what physical can do? Movies, just I've heard of them. Never really got into them. Poking anyone. I am surprised they haven't added GameCube titles since Gale of Darkness. I wonder if the bug thing they had to do for Gale pushed back their internal GameCube schedule. For those of you who haven't heard, Justin Verlander is retiring from baseball. It's not just that Coliseum isn't there. The whole difference with NSO on Switch 2. That Switch 1 is GameCube NSO. Haven't had a game since April. Yeah, it's been a good 3 months. Let's watch the new NSO drop, by the way. Got 4 new games yesterday. I don't know if this is the longest it's been, but I think it might be the longest it's been in the last 13 months in between 2 different Nintendo GameCube games dropping on Nintendo Switch Online. 3 months is a pretty decent time. I originally thought that when we got Pokemon XD Paul Gale of Darkness in April, if I'm not mistaken, we would have seen Coliseum drop by June 30th. As June was going on, I was like, shoot. Now I'm thinking Coliseum or Sunshine in July, and the other one in August. Or maybe by September 30th at the latest. I think that Nintendo is taking a little bit too long at this point, it being 3 months without a GameCube game in one aspect, because 3 months without a new title on a newer platform is a pretty good amount of time. However, on the other side of the coin, I'm not terribly upset because one, there are a lot of games already there. There are several hundred games that you could play. Two, there have been multiple drops of games on other systems that you could be enjoying. Three, there are other new games that have come out that you could be enjoying, like Star Fox, for instance, or Rhythm Heaven Groove, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Okay. And last but not least, why I'm not going cuckoo over it, they didn't charge you anymore. If the Nintendo GameCube games on NSO cost more to play, like Expansion Pack Plus, where you had your base, you had Expansion Pack, which was more, and then only on Nintendo Switch 2, you paid for Expansion Pack Plus, and that's how you got access to GameCube games. And here, now that you paid more, you have not gotten anything in 3 months. I would say then it's sort of understandably a justified reason to kind of complain a little bit because it's like, you still haven't updated? It's been 3 months and I'm paying more for this. However, you're paying the same rate that you have, and you have received more games in that expansion pack, like Virtual Boy, for instance, and in everything else. So when you look at it, it's 13 months of availability in something free that's added on to your existing service. And in those 13 months, there's like what, 9 games available on NSO right now, or 10 or something from GameCube. Gives you the opportunity to play other games on GameCube. Maybe you never played Wind Waker. Go play Wind Waker. It's within the realm of familiarity as Pokemon XD, Pokemon Coliseum. So, on one side, there's nothing to really complain about. But on the other side, it is just a little bit too long of a time. But even then, you could kind of say, is it though? They've been given other things. Purely GameCube, though, yeah, I think 3 months is a little bit long. You know, eh. In time, we know we'll get Coliseum. We know we'll get Sunshine. I think once in a while, should Nintendo just let people know in advance when they're coming out? Possibly, but then you run into the problem of people and memberships and expectancies and ads and drops and stuff like that. Maybe it's too infrequent. Then you also run into the, well, now there's no mystery or surprise, no anticipation for buying into it in the hopes of something's going to come. The way they've been doing it, it's been steady. It's been a steady rollout. There is no rhyme or reason to when they drop it. It's not like anniversary tied necessarily, or every 32 days you get this, or we go NES, Genesis, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, N64, Virtual Boy, GameCube, back to the beginning. NES, Genesis, Super Nintendo. Like, there's no necessarily pattern that you could follow, which for some people it's annoying. For others, hey, it's just a random Tuesday, and then, oh, I wake up and I see, oh, new Nintendo Switch Online game. So Nintendo's still leaning on shocking and surprising folks. But they do have to understand their market, which they understand the most of, I would say. But a certain population of that market is like, antsy. Dude, you showed me this game months and months and months ago. Where's it at? I'm getting impatient. Their hopes are, dude, play the other stuff that's there. Not everyone works that way. Let's see. Sorry, I'm annoyed by it, like people who are mad at Physical gone from PlayStation in 2028. I have to resubscribe to NSO and let it expire again. Has anyone played any of the new tracks on Mario Kart World? And if so, what do you think? Has anybody? I played Mario Kart World just like a week ago or so. We desperately need More GameCube games. They have so many GameCube games they could add besides Sunshine and Coliseum. There are a lot more. You have Double Dash, Mario Party, Star Fox games, Twilight Princess, Animal Crossing. OMG, I love Dr. Mario, says Jam Powers. I feel they're dropping the ball. Well, they did just release 4 yesterday, or a couple days ago. I heard from a friend they're going to add Skies of Arcadia Legends. That'll be a good one for people. I think folks that are into Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, and Coliseum will like Skies of Arcadia from that RPG crossover appeal, same era appeal. You know, Paul, it doesn't matter. We need Pokemon Coliseum to make Poke happy. Ah. They should add Mario Baseball to the GameCube selection. Yes, that's one of the games I never played on GameCube. That and Double Dash. I just feel they should be dropping more GameCube games. How many are there now? 9 or 10? Is it 9 or 10? Let me look real quick. Eight. Okay. 8 in 13 months. Had it been 10, I would say 10 and 13 months is fine. Had it been 9, I would say you're still, high 60s percentage wise. 8, though, it's a little low. Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD, Gale, Network of Darkness, Wario World, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, Soul Calibur 2, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo. I thought there were 9. I don't know why I thought 9 or 10. I guess there's just 8. I don't think there has to be one available per month. I think that would be ideal. That would be the best. One per month? I think, in my opinion, as long as it doesn't dip below an average of one every 2 months, that's pretty good. And technically, we're not there yet. We're at 13 months, so there should be 7. We're at 13 months, and we have 8. It's starting to get a little low, though, on the ratio. I like the 2-to-1 aspect. As long as it's got 2 games for every month that the service exists, that's nice. But I'm a little bit lenient because there's no extra charge for it. Had there been an extra charge, I don't know if I would be good with that 2-to-1 or if I would hope or want or think that they should have a higher ratio. Better ratio, I just want Kid Icarus Uprising to come back somehow. I agree, Game Center X. I just want GameCube NSO to get more love. Yeah, hopefully Poke91. That was the console I grew up with the most and played the most in my childhood. That's cool, Xeno Hope. That was my childhood. I personally wish they had Dreamcast. I hope so too, Charlie Smith. I like them to add Dreamcast, but I think you need another tier for Dreamcast. I think it's too much if you include it. Maybe not, though. Eternal Darkness this October, that would be nice. It's the fact that they have so many games they could add, probably in time. Think about it like this. We got another, 7 years of Nintendo Switch 2 life left? What if you look back 8 years from now and let's try to find a good number. What if there are 58 Nintendo GameCube games available 8 years from now? A collection of 58 games that came out for the system, periodically, random releases. Meanwhile, NES, SNES, Virtual Boy, N64, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis, all also got titles throughout those next 7 years, 8 years. But the GameCube portion had 58 titles after 7 years on the market. So, like in year 8, I think most people would be looking at it at that point saying, dang, that's a lot. That's a lot of titles that I got over those 7 years at no extra cost from the NSO that I was already paying for. It took a while to get them, but also that's like a bonus. It's like a perk. Mm, we'll see. We'll see what Nintendo does. I played it since my older brother bought it when I was a kid. That's when I got into Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Animal Crossing. I would love to play those games again. Majora's Mask, that's there. Ocarina of Time is there. Melee would be cool to see, though. Yeah. Surprise and delight. Byzantium, true. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, Game Center X. That would be a good one. Pokey 91, you're saying 9? See, I thought it was 9. How come this thing is saying 8? So 9's not bad. 8's a little low. Joyce J is saying, hey Paul, hey y'all, working and lurking. I also will be going to Nintendo and releasing Pokemon Coliseum. Well, that's very nice of you, Joyce J. Wow, look at that. We got problem solved. Joyce is just going to Redmond and gonna do it. Red Wizard, everybody wants GameCube games. Question, were y'all in the 5 years it was on sale? Crickets, I know I bought 3 units myself before it went to $100. That's right, Red Wizard. Oh, everyone wants GameCube now. Where were you back then? Well, maybe that's why they want it so bad now, because they're like, oh man, I didn't know it was this cool. I messed up. Yeah, there are 9 GameCube games. Okay. Chibi Robo, Fire Emblem, F-Zero, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon XD, Paul Gale Network of Darkness, Soul Calibur 2, Super Mario Strikers, Zelda Wind Waker, and Wario World. So it is 9. Okay. It's 9 and 13. 10 would be excellent, in my opinion. 9 is still great. 8 is good, but 8 and 13 is starting to get low. 7 is where I'm like, okay, 7 should be the lowest because of my 2-to-1 ratio. But 9. I'm going to ask a very real question right now. Whoa, that's too big. Yeah, I was right. 69% of the time that we have had with GameCube NSO has there been a game released per month on average? Here's a very real question, though. Let's see. Have you played all 9 GameCube games currently available for Nintendo Switch Online? Yes, all 9. No. Let's go with 7 to 8 of them. No. 5 to 6 of them. No. 1 to 4 of them. Here's going to be the real one for you. If you answer yes, all 9, I think you are more entitled to complain. If you answer no, 1 to 4, then you are a little bit less entitled to complain, because why not play some of the other ones and give something new a try? Some real talk. You are lucky that Bayonetta is not here, because I keep things legit kind, respectful, honest, opinionated Bayonetta will tell you like it is from her bottom from the bottom of her heart. You know what I mean? Like Bayonetta, she'll put you in your place. Roger Enier with a big $2 holla saying, "Hope everyone is having a great day." Right on. Thank you, Roger. Roger Enier 2066 with a big $2 holla. Thank you, Roger. Super cool of you. I appreciate it. We don't have any in DLC, otherwise I would add the DLC right now. But that does bring us up to 3 for the day. Oh, this poll is going to be very interesting. But first, let's do some more reading. It would be funny if they brought back Hey Pikachu to NSO now that Switch 2 has brought the microphone. I would be fine with Hey You Pikachu. Yeah, Poke91, that would be cool. I got the GameCube on launch day with Rogue Squadron 2 and Wave Race Blue Storm. That's nice. We are down to 3 months. I feel they are dropping the ball with that. 3 months is a little bit too long. I agree. Mostly. They need more GameCube games. Stop putting N64 and GBA. We need GameCube. I get they have other systems on them, so they deserve love too. True. True, but those systems have a lot of games already. Time to focus on newer ones like GameCube. We need Pokemon Coliseum, Skies of Arcadia, Sunshine, Twilight Princess. I like Mario 3D World on Switch. That's a really good one. We need them like we need oxygen. Red Wizard says, I can tell you, GameCube games will be slow to populate. It's the sole Switch 2 exclusive console at the moment. This is going into year 2 of the system. Nintendo will trickle releases to keep you paying. And Animal Crossing or Mario Party was 4 to 7, Melee for years to come. I thought it was 9. Yeah, Poke 9. Poke 91, you were right. It is 9, not 8. Roger is lurking today. Okay. Glad to have you here, though. Super Monkey Ball Game Center. That's good. I wonder if they will also put Paper Mario 1000 in your door. Good questions, Hope 5. Again, I'm not saying Nintendo is wrong. They do things how they do it. I mean, overall, Nintendo runs a great ship. Will every decision they make always be the best, coolest, most fun, friendly? Woo! Not necessarily, you know. It's been almost 5 years for N64 NSO games, and still all first-party games haven't come to the service yet. 9 GameCube games in a year is amazing. Be grateful, everyone. True. Yeah, true. It's free. Don't forget, N64 was a part of Expansion Pass. It was a new tier. You had to pay more for it. GameCube, they just throw in there for free. They didn't put GameCube in a new tier. It was at no extra cost. So you're not paying more to not get games. That would kind of suck. I'm paying more for this more expensive tier and I'm not getting more? What gives? No. You're already paying what you were paying to have the ability to have the Mario Kart World, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, boatload of DLC, the Splatoon DLC. That's a part of expansion pack. Now to get Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom upgrade path on it, and get Virtual Boy and get GameCube for free. All that stuff added on for free. Not in another tier. You get what you're gonna get. It didn't cost you anymore. It didn't cost you anymore. it's not like a different tier. If Nintendo has a third tier, and the third tier has Wii, DS, and Dreamcast, and you had to pay more for it, and they are barely doing one every 4 months of Wii, 4 months later, a DS, 4 months later, a Dreamcast, and maybe before the end of the year, one other bonus one. They give you 4 in the whole year for this new tier that is more expensive by a decent amount. I would say, okay, that is not giving the consumer a lot of confidence because you're charging them more. And is it an appropriate amount more for what they're giving, what they're being given? But this is free. So it's not free, but it's added on at no extra cost to what you were already willing to pay for what you were getting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're not supposed to actually play the games. We're only supposed to complain about them. I have just played Wind Waker and Luigi's Mansion. No, we'd be lucky if Bayonetta was here. Soon, Joycey. Probably. Probably. I don't even pay for NSO level of GameCube games. I've only played Gale of Darkness, Wind Waker, Luigi's Mansion. Sorry, Paul Gale, I agree to disagree. Everyone is entitled to feel how they want to feel. Hey, everyone's got a different stake in this. I just speak from as many perspectives as I can. Bayonetta, though, she would speak directly. And folks might be surprised at how Bayonetta delivers. Especially late night Bayonetta. Ooh, I've had conversations with late night Paulinetta. You don't know. You don't know what she's like. Chilling hard. People complain too much. That is true. In general. I am not boycotting Nintendo Switch 2. Vicious 556. Hi, Paul and everyone. Hope you're well. Thank you, Vicious. I'm doing well. How you doing? Game Center, Beautiful Joe. That's another good one. Robert Nintendo Bros. What's up, Paul? What's up, Nintendo Bros? Of course. Let's see. Business. Fire Legend. Wahoo! Don't forget Happy Home Paradise. So like PlayStation Plus. I'm kind of hoping we get DS eventually on NSO. I would flip out, buy it real quick. Don't they sort of do that? PlayStation has multiple tiers, yeah. All I know is with the sheer volume of NSO games, that price is going to go up. Has to, unless they custom pack plans and pay for what you want. Everyone knows about the game called Mario Sonic Rio Tennis. We're starting to get concerned, Edwin says. Chilling hard. Hey, Paul. Okay. We are caught up. Shall we go into some Famitsu sales? How many people are here right now? Usually we try to do the Famitsu sales when we've got a decent amount of folks watching. Just because, I don't want anybody to miss out on the sales. Although I never mind, restating. I never mind going over the sales again later on when someone's late to the party. But since we have 27 watching now, 22 likes. Hey, we hit 22 likes. Let's go. Let's go over the Famitsu sales, okay? These are the top 10 best-selling games in Japan last week. This is physical only, occupying the time frame of June 29th through July 5th. This is from Famitsu. I'm reading it off of installbaseforum.com. This chart in particular right here, put together by Chris1964. Let's go. The number 1 best-selling game of the week, Rhythm Heaven Groove. With a whopping 393,000 copies sold, physical alone. You know that digital sales gotta be at least 20%. So we're looking at like a 500,000 opening freaking game. That's awesome. Yeah, if digital's like 107,000, that'd be roughly 20%, an 80-20 split. I think it's more than 20 digital. So safe to say, dude, Rhythm Heaven Groove sold over 500,000 units in Japan in the opening weekend. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Ooh, we have to stop real quick because we got another super chat here, kind of. It's a gifted jewel drop from Banyana 2 with a big high five. Psh, thank you, Banyana 2, with for 100 jewels. Right on. I appreciate you, and I appreciate that contribution. We're at 4 now in the stream, and we have 2 save files. Let me find a good place. Right here will be a good spot. Oh no, hold on. Let me go to here'll be a good place. Because Joycey J69 just donated J69 the big 10 jewels. Thank you, Joycey, for the what is it? The heart emoji. I appreciate it. Let's go with pink, right? Yeah. That's my last set of jewels. Why, thank you very much, Joycey, for the last set of jewels. But yeah, Rhythm Heaven Groove. Woo. Let's go into number 2. Goemon's Great Gathering. This is Mystical Ninja. You remember Goemon? N64 had a fun Mystical Ninja Goemon. It on Nintendo Switch opened up with 60,428. Quite a strong debut for Goemon. I'm happy to see it. Tamagotchi Life for Nintendo Switch had another. It's been out for a while, as you know. It this last week did. I don't know why I got tongue tied there. 26,552 copies. In fourth, the Nintendo Switch release of Power Pros 2026 to 2027 did 13,261 copies. In fifth, I was looking for this one, and I was saying to myself, when I was looking at this morning, I briefly glanced over it. I was like, hopefully Star Fox is like, sub 80%. Come on, be like 70 to 79%. That would be a good drop. And it did just right that in the middle. Star Fox, it dropped 75% from the previous week, kind of to be expected. If it was like 90 or 88 or something like that, I'd be like, ooh, man, that's kind of a hard drop. Or if it wasn't even on the list, I'd have to look at the number 10th place and then say, okay, what's one lower than that? And then find the ratio, the percentage, I should say, and that might not have been the most fun. But Star Fox dropped 75%. That's what I thought. I was like 70 to 79, let's go. 75, I couldn't have called it better. 10,388, physical only. Here's a good comparison. In sixth place, you've got Goemon's Great Gathering for PlayStation 5, and that particular SKU did 8,773 copies. Quite a bit less than Nintendo Switch's 60,428. But combined total, though, the game did a respectable 69,000. But big gap between 60K and 8K, right? In seventh, Pokemon Pokopia. Great to see it go up. It actually had a boost of 15%. 6,724 copies last week. In eighth, Mario Kart World, up 32%. 5,976 copies last week. In ninth, eFootball Kickoff. It moved 5,946 units. And in 10th, Minecraft for Nintendo Switch. 4,027 copies. Up 20%. So pretty good sales data all around. You had Rhythm Heaven. And by the way, this is unofficial, but I'm just gonna tell you, if Rhythm Heaven Groove did 6,622 shy of 400K physical, and I'm telling you, it did 500,000 total in Japan alone. Yeah, the game did 1 million overall worldwide, almost 100% certain. That's pretty awesome to see. Another million seller. Now, I'm going to just gloat a little bit. I won't go online and find the rude comment that somebody said before. It's fine if somebody disagrees, but to be negative and unnecessarily mean is foolish when you're talking with someone who knows sales data. I said Rhythm Heaven Groove launching this summer on Nintendo Switch would see the Nintendo Switch have an increase in sales. Not dramatic, but considerable. Considerable, I mean, wouldn't you say a 30% increase is considerable? I would. Now, it remains to be seen how long will the impact last, but I said if that lasting effect is a few weeks and then it's multiplied by that similar few weeks that we will see in Japan to the rest of the world, that's not a bad jump, right? Well, let's go check out the hardware sales, okay? You'll see what I'm talking about. Best selling game of the week, best selling console of the week, Nintendo Switch 2, 32,797 compared to last week's 24,879. Gosh, why do you think Nintendo Switch 2 sold almost 8,000 more? Huh, almost 8,000 more. Do you think it might have been because of Rhythm Heaven? Do you think it might be a combination of Rhythm Heaven and Goemon's Great Gathering? Well, those are two Nintendo Switch games, yeah, but they helped out a bit on the Nintendo Switch 2 front. But that's not even my claim. My claim was like, Rhythm Heaven will help out Nintendo Switch. So let's look at the second best selling console of the week PlayStation 5, 913. Okay, up 1,000. A little bit of an increase. But the third one is a pretty good percentage. 10,788 units sold was the Nintendo Switch compared to 7,068 last week. That's a big jump. That's 3,720 more. That is sizable. You're looking at like 40% increase from the previous week. Told you. I told you Rhythm Heaven would move units. How long? I don't know. But let's say it lasts like 5 weeks. Let's say 5 weeks. Thanks to Rhythm Heaven, we see. Let's just take this 3,700 and call it 3,000. Let's see Nintendo Switch does like 10,000 a week for the next 5 weeks. Now let's say 4 weeks, okay? Because then it's 5 weeks total. That would be 4 weeks times 3,000 is 12. Plus the 3,700 this week. So you're looking at 15,700. Okay. 15,700 for one region. How about three regions being comparable? Let's call it 60,000. If 60,000 people around the world bought a Nintendo Switch this far into the game for Rhythm Heaven, don't you think 60,000 is a good number? If Nintendo Switch is barely going to do 300,000 per quarter and it would end up doing 360,000, is that not a good jump? Or if it would only do 250 and it did 310, is that not a good jump? Yeah, it is. Don't fight the numbers, guy. Dang it. You could say, I don't know, man. Don't a lot of people have a Nintendo Switch already? I just don't see a lot of folks buying it. That's one thing. But being like, dude, you're wrong. A system that's 9 years old, who is gonna buy it, dude? That's stupid. That's incorrect. No one's gonna buy a system. Sure, the game will sell. I'm not denying that, but like, You don't know numbers if you think that more people are going to buy Nintendo Switch than normal just because of Rhythm Heaven. No, you're wrong. The normal people will buy it regardless. Clearly, they're buying it every week. That's somebody. That's not the whole country, but somebody's still buying it every week. This game is big enough. It will see a bump. Anyways, you know, a certain type of individual would go back on X and scroll back, and go copy paste. What did I tell you? What did I tell you like 2 months ago? But that's not me. I'm just talking and having fun right now. Mini gloat with you all here, but whatever. And then Xbox Series S in fourth with 730. I'll say they'd probably do plans. Maybe Mario Kart World's still kicking butt. Yeah, I love Pokopia. Yeah, I'm really not an Xbox fan, but I love your shirt. Thanks, Charlie Smith. Yeah, it's a cool shirt. It's a pretty cool shirt. I remember the TV show Malcolm in the Middle. Did you watch the Malcolm in the Middle reunion? It was a 4 episode little break a couple months ago. It was pretty cool. Hello, Paul. Are you planning on picking up Splatoon Raiders? Hope so. It's in 2 weeks. It's pretty exciting. Paul, I heard they're going to have a disk drive on the next Xbox. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. It's the first Rhythm Heaven game in over 10 years. Yeah. Rhythm Heaven Groove. Nintendo's not done yet with Nintendo Switch. There will still be software coming out for the system for some years to come. Even when Nintendo doesn't make any new big games for it, there will be some third parties still. There will be indies, and there will be NSO games, right? So Nintendo Switch is going to still do fine. And, Nintendo confirmed it's not the rest of the world that they will be ending production and shipping to retailers Nintendo Switch models. No, just Europe, starting mid February 2027. 7 more months, several 100,000 last units, maybe 1.5 million tops, depending on how many are out there and how many more they will make, but at least several 100,000. That's enough to bring Nintendo Switch up a good amount. And that's not counting then Japan and Australia, United States, Canada, Mexico, Brazil. Check it out. Nintendo Switch is at 155.92. It's not there anymore, okay? It's like 156.3 or something like that now. 156.2. I could probably check. I have an old number that told me it did pass 156. I might have had a second number that said how far into the 156 territory did it reach, but let's just say 156.2, okay? It might be 56.3, I don't remember. But let's say it's 156.2. Probably you're going to get to 156.8 with the rest of the European stock. At 156.8, you're looking at probably 156.9 by the end of this month. Rest of the world, call it 157. You could call it 157. I think safe to say for the rest of the world's sales up through July 31st, plus all of what Europe will eventually give to the total, you're looking at 157. So you're looking at you need 3 million more to sell all around the world between July 31st and I'm going to say sometime summer or by December 31st, 2027 at the latest is what I'm anticipating. 3 million non-European units to sell. It'll be a few 100,000 per quarter in the United States, Japan, all of these other markets. And when you have, 400,000 per quarter, you look at the ones ending in September, December, March, June, September, December, 6 times 450,000. You're looking at 2.7 million. That brings us up to 159.7 million. And that's pretty close to 160. You could hit 160 by 12/31/2027. You just have to sell a little bit better than 450,000 per quarter, or in reality, probably a little less, but sell significantly more than 450K during the holiday season. And then you get it. And you get it. As long as Nintendo doesn't cease production, they will hit 160 million worldwide. They only do not hit their target. I'm not even saying that there's that I'm not even saying that is their target, but the only way they won't hit 160 is if they just stop manufacturing them, because they're like, you know what? We'd rather focus energy, put the production lines, the manufacturing lines, any extra plastic, etc., screens, just towards Nintendo Switch 2. Do we care if we're at 159.4? Was another 600,000. We'd rather Nintendo Switch 2 sell a couple more million by ramping up production there and finding if we can make some deals and free up some of that cost, that labor, by having these facilities still open and these contracts open. We don't need that extra 600K to tie and beat PS2. Nintendo might be like that. They might get to that point. I think, though, even though Nintendo's not a super gloating company, it would serve them well to go ahead and push to become number one, because that's a talking point. And then you have the opportunity for folks like Devin Pritchard, Nintendo of America president, to go on the places such as Entertainment Tonight, E! Extra, Access Hollywood, Good Day LA, Fox, CNN, CBS, NBC, late night, uh, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, whatever. Not all of those places, but some, to talk about this monumental milestone. Nintendo Switch, number one best-selling console of all time. A little bit of a talking point. And we're excited to see these people eventually level up to the Nintendo Switch 2, which has the following games. We're also going to show off something new very soon that's going to be exciting. We've got our theme parks, our movies. You give someone a new trailer for this or that, like, boom, you got talking point. You have a little bit more reason than just do these few 100,000 more. Does it really matter? Yes, it will. Hmm. Let's see. Let me get back to chat. I'm a little bit behind. Don't people realize Japan is different than the West? Rhythm Heaven had a heck of a start in Japan. They sure did. Japan loves that stuff. I still am shocked in the low Switch 1 sales in the last few weeks in Japan's lack of love for Star Fox. I mean, Star Fox opened up all right in Japan. It was fine. And it had a 75% drop, which is right where I thought it would be. So I would have loved it for it to have a even softer drop, but that's okay. NSO games are enough to keep us busy. I'm gonna pick up at least one or two more regular Nintendo Switches before the end of the year. Nice. Indies, I think Switch will pass PS1. It will, Pokey. The KG, happy belated birthday. Hope you're having a great day, buddy. Thank you, the KG6811. It's a good day. Can you believe the Wii is 20 years old? Yeah, this November 19th. Pretty cool stuff. It's just a matter of when. It already did beat the DS, yes. I heard it's going to go to India, so that will. That's one of the things. Like, if folks pay attention to when I talk on X regarding sales and Nintendo Switch, I listed out plenty of reasons. This is how it will do it. And if it could do these things, sky's the limit. We're looking at 160 to 210. But all of those things have not happened in order for it to hit 210. It did not get a worldwide permanently reduced significant reduction in hardware cost, or a second drop, or a permanently reduced player's choice or Nintendo Select's lineup. Nor has there been a new model late in the game like a Nintendo Switch Mini or Nintendo Switch Micro. Those things might happen, but what I also said should happen in order for it to do these numbers, better penetration in China and entering India. Even if India contributes to 700K on the low end, 7 million maybe, high end, ooh, that's good. We'll see. We'll see. Move over PlayStation 2. There's a new king in town. So 157.8 before March 31st. 157.8 before then. I have to, let's see, what did I say? I'll have to look at I'll have to do the math again on that one. Mike Odyssey, PlayStation is number one. PS2 is the number one so far. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Welcome everyone. Mike Odyssey in the chat. Not for long, Mike. Why do I donate to your channel again? That's funny. Tutu Mike, that's what Pokey said. I still feel Switch is the leader. Can't believe Sony's numbers. I want to see receipts. Yeah. And Sony never specified 160. 160 point what? Are you talking about 160.05? 160.19? 160.48? 160? I don't think it's 160.5 or higher. Otherwise, you would have, if it's like, if you hit 165, or sorry, if you hit 160.5, I think you would announce in the presser 160.5 million. So I don't think it's like 160.6. Because you could say officially over 160.5. Ah, come on, Sony. Come on. You afraid? Are you afraid of Nintendo? So, I think if Nintendo Switch hits 161, there will be no Sony fan on the planet that could say, yeah, but they didn't specify. It could be 160.99. Come on now. Sony will find a missing document stating 5 million more sales actually happened for PlayStation 2. If they could lower the Switch 1 price, game over. We already have proof Sony gave the numbers. If they say another numbers, it proves they're liars, make them look bad. I'm pretty sure once Nintendo Switch passes 160, PS President will find about 10,000 more and add it on to the total. LOL, says Mike Odyssey. You could see that happening. I remember Reggie on Fallon. Yeah, classic Nintendo lore. Well, that's funny. I would love it for it to happen, especially with Sony's stuff going down. If they lowered the price to 150 for the Switch, they would smash through the 160 target. And with Tabby, you don't talk to your customers that pay your bills. Who even is the main character / brand for PlayStation? It's got to be Kratos, right? It's got to be Kratos. Kratos, or it should be Ratchet and Clank. I think Sony likes God of War more than they do Ratchet and Clank. Astrobot? Like, I don't think you could go with Billy and Joel as the, main, most recognizable characters. Although, if you're talking about TV, cinema, movie, gaming, maybe it is The Last of Us as an IP. But I don't know. I think God of War is still bigger with the longer time fans. Uncharted, Nathan Drake, but it's a dead series. I shouldn't say dead series, but Naughty Dog has moved on. Will they ever revisit? Maybe. I like Uncharted. Did you hear about the Sony president selling half his stock over the announcement? He heard he made over $3 million. It used to be Crash and Spyro. See, like Crash and Spyro they were so associated with Sony, but they were never Sony IP technically. You know. Paul, will you get a PS6 next year? Michael Champagne says. I don't think PS6 is going to come out in 2027. It might. It might. It depends on. It depends on if it's got anything exclusive for it or not. Like I said before, if PlayStation 6 comes out and a launch game for it, November, whatever, 2028, is this incredible looking X-Men game. As good as any Spider-Man of Insomniac games, but it's this incredible looking and running, performing brilliantly, voice acted, etc. Super duper fun X-Men game. Only for PlayStation 6. There's a decent chance that I would buy the system for that game, knowing that there will be at least a half a dozen or so other games of that caliber throughout the 8 years that the system's going to be out. Would I commit to a $1,000 console if I knew that it was only going to get X-Men for the next 8 years and not a single other game? I would say no. I wouldn't spend $1,200 after tax to just play one game all gen. But $1,200 up front for one game that would be a masterpiece, and another 7 or so games that would also be close to masterpieces over the next 7 years? Yeah, probably. Gamebird Classics here saying howdy, howdy Gamebird Classic. Astrobot, it's obviously Gex. They love God of War, Gex, Crash, not many more though. And Crash has been on Nintendo for a long time. Jay, they do that, they will make themselves look even more bad with the stunt they pulled. Remember the commercial where Crash went outside NOA headquarters with a megaphone? Yup, I remember that. Yup. Yeah, fair. Depends on what games are for it. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I was on a question earlier. I think it was Red Wizard that asked. Yeah. So 157.8 before March 31st? Well, let's see. By June 30th, like I said, I don't recall the number off the top of my head, but I remember when it hit 156. So if we're on the low end, let's call it 156.2, 156.5, 157.1, 157.4. I think 157.4 by March 31st. Call 157.5 because I'm pretty sure it's higher than 156.2 right now. 157.5 by March 31st. At least. And here's the other thing. So February of 2027 will be when Nintendo stops shipping out Nintendo Switch 1 units to Europe. Doesn't mean they won't still have surplus stock in inventories to sell. Unless if they all have to be sold by then, no longer be made available anymore. I don't know exactly. Although Nintendo will have already counted the total shipped to retailers, right? And then they could give us an update to sold. Banyana 2 says, when are they adding Twilight Princess to the GameCube on NSO? Or do you think it will be a Wii NSO when they add it? I would like to see Wii added to NSO, and I kind of think it will eventually, but I think when and if it does, it'll be a third tier. I don't think it'll be expansion pack. It'll be a more expensive tier. Could it be Twilight Princess Wii version, though? there, possibly. But I could also see GameCube getting it. Twilight Princess is a little bit tricky because, well, first of all, I feel like the same way with um, the Wind Waker. I don't think Nintendo is not going to ever release a version of the Wind Waker HD on a new system. I just think that so long has happened, so much time has gone by from Wind Waker HD to now. More time has gone by from Wind Waker HD on Wii U to now, present day. It's a longer gap than from the original GameCube release to the HD one. So if you just release that HD one now, it wouldn't be as significant of a leap forward. So I think they'll sit on it, and then when they re-release it, it'll get some new bells and whistles. Maybe some different lighting, texture, 4K update, 60 frames per second, play different, another dungeon added, some more refinements to some quality of life things, a new amiibo or two, uh, some weapons that they scrapped. Like, it'll be more significant. Twilight Princess, same thing. More time has passed from Twilight Princess HD on Wii U to present day, then the original Wii, followed by immediate almost GameCube release to the HD one. So I think when you see Twilight Princess next, also since Twilight Princess got less of a glow up on Wii U than the Wind Waker did, reasonable expectations slash speculation goes into I could see Twilight Princess getting more of a glow up this time around than the Wind Waker did. So maybe they take the basic code of Twilight Princess on Wii U and they're like, okay, we gotta pump a pretty solid graphics filter on it. We gotta make this game in 4K 60. We need some new animations for Link and the enemies. We gotta give it the like Metroid Prime remastered treatment plus. Because the first game didn't get that treatment. That is Twilight Princess. So give it Metroid Prime Remastered Treatment Plus. On the low end, okay, cool. On the high end, you remake that bad boy and you make it look like the E3 2011 Wii U Tech Demo cranked up. Or basically, you give it the Ocarina of Time remake treatment. Maybe not that powerful where it's totally re-envisioned from an art standpoint, but just, new polygon standpoint. Thank you, by the way, Ash. Crash and Spyro games on GBA were fun. Yeah, Vicious. Crash and Spyro have had quite a bit of good games over the years. How many sales do you think Rhythm Heaven Groove sold on NS1? Easy 500K in Japan. Over 1 million worldwide, for sure. Yeah. Just how much over a million? I don't know. But like I'd be very surprised if it did not do 1 million worldwide. I don't think that's the case. I was surprised they remastered Skyward Sword before Twilight Princess. Well, Skyward Sword didn't get a Wii U bump, so it went Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Yeah. So it was the next one. By the way, our stream's probably going to end soon, unless if there are some significant questions or any kind of questions, really. Before we go, though, I got to give a shout out and thank you to Roger Enyart, Tabby Cat Games, Banyana2, and JoyceJ69. We'll probably be using a save file today, but maybe not. Before we go, though, let's do a couple of gaming history shorts. I think on the 7th we did go over these two, but we didn't go over Rocket League, so we'll do Rocket League. Today in gaming history, July 7th, 2015, Rocket League launched for the PlayStation 4 and PC worldwide. Yesterday's was One Piece. Today in gaming history, July 8th, 2014, One Piece Unlimited World Red launched for the PlayStation 3, Nintendo 3DS, and Wii U in North America. And then we've got Outlaw Volleyball today. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. Sit down and prepare for a great show. I am your host, Paul Gale, and I will be letting you know that today in gaming history, July 9th, 2003, Outlaw Volleyball launched for the Xbox in North America. If you're wondering, why am I so extra and over the top? That's kind of how the announcer was, which was Steve Carell, who did the voiceover work for Outlaw Volleyball. Fun fact. Still waiting for the next Mario game. Man, you know how amazing the next Mario game is going to be? For how long we've waited, it's been several years since Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. That Bowser's Fury is the last 3D Mario game, you know? The last big 3D Mario game, sure, is Super Mario Odyssey, but we have had something since then. But that's been several years now. So, geez, I'm hyped for the next mainline 3D Mario. Like, I can only imagine just how amazing it's going to be. Sounds right. About 1 million. Do you think it helped hardware sales too? Yeah, we went over it earlier. We saw the bump in Japan. It was like a good, almost 40% over the previous week. Last week in Japan, 7,068. This week in Japan, 10,788. 3,720 more? That's a big bump. What kind of setting do you think the next 3D Mario will be in? Wow, that's great. Yeah, it is great. Next 3D Mario setting. Gosh, I had this crazy vision of Super Mario Galaxy 3 or Super Mario Universe. And it's Mario going to different Nintendo franchise character worlds and helping them out and acting as a Trojan horse of sorts to bring the big Mario fan base into a little bit of Star Fox and Pikmin and Metroid and Donkey Kong and Animal Crossing and Splatoon and Zelda and Fire Emblem and Xenoblade. And not that the game would just be this mismatch of all these other IPs. It would still be very much Mario. It would still have plenty of Mario courses, but it would have little worlds and blips and bloops of like that kind of stuff, like Mario Galaxy Movie with Fox, kind of like that. Yeah. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. It might be something entirely new, entirely different, but that's where I was going with was Galaxy 3 or Universe. I wouldn't mind Odyssey too. I actually like whatever they add in it, I'm always excited for. I'm always up for. But one thing I would hope returns is Cappy. Not necessarily the copying ability, that doesn't have to exist again, but just Cappy as an always have on you throwing action, and especially a throwing action to roll into, to jump off of, leap off of. I loved that immersiveness with the platforming that Cappy brought. It delivered a lot, and give me more, What's your new guesstimate of when it will pass PS2? So for a long time, I was on summer of 2027. I'm still on summer of 2027, but when I look at it a little bit more here and there, not my fault, not Nintendo's fault, but thanks to RAM and tariffs. I could see my summer 2027 being pushed to December 31st, 2027. And even if it's a little bit off then, first quarter 28, it's not happening this year. It's not happening early 27. I really think you're looking at like July through December of 28. Best case is, that summer to fall. But a little bit into 2028 is when it could happen too. We'll just see. For as good as I am, not to be egotistical or anything like that, but for as good as I am when it comes to numbers, analysis, and stuff like that, there are unpredictable things. There are things that, like, I didn't anticipate, tariffs happening 10 years ago. I don't know. I wasn't expecting 8 years ago, oh yeah, RAM prices are going to go way up and mess with all this stuff. No. So, well, we'll see. Did we go over the topics today? Yeah. Rhythm Heaven, new NSO games. We watched the trailer. Famitsu sales data. Yeah. Splatoon Raiders in a couple weeks. Yeah. I wish it would this year with all the PlayStation stuff going down. That would be cool, Poke91. Patty Burke, 1971 in the house. Welcome, Patty Burke, by the way. I know you're coming a little bit late, so if you want me to go over any of the sales data this week, keep me posted. Hope you had a good day so far. It's pretty late for you over there. But let's see, what did you have to say? Do you think we'll get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Switch 2 Edition? It might fix the issues I have getting online with it. Can't get online with it, and weird thing is, MKW is fine along with every other game. Whoa! Patty Burke, that is weird. Hold on. Your Mario Kart 8 Deluxe copy isn't working on Nintendo Switch 2 to try to go online with it? That doesn't sound right. I wonder why. As for your other question, though, or the main question, do I think we'll get a NS2 edition of it? With how much they are pushing and will continue to push Mario Kart World, the safer answer is no. But with the install base there of Mario Kart World, if it's a small, paid for $5-10 upgrade, maybe they wouldn't want it to detract people from buying Mario Kart World. But perhaps once Mario Kart World is like a 20 million seller, they do something for MK8 Deluxe to try to get some money off of that crowd too. Maybe, but I'm going to say less than 40% chance. I'm going to go with like a 30% chance that it'll happen. It would be cool though. I'd like for it to happen. Shoot, I think it would be awesome. Go for it. Yeah, heck yeah, dude. Do it, Nintendo. I don't know. Good question though. Vicious says, yeah, I think a small appearance from at least the Star Fox crew in the next Mario game, especially because of the movie, would be pretty cool. Would be cool. Do you think Winds and Waves will be a big boost in sales for Switch 2? Yeah, Banana 2. Definitely. The Polytoad Dojo is here. Sorry I am late. That's okay, the Polytoad Dojo. Paul, for you and Patty and anybody, let me know if you want me to go over the Famitsu sales numbers again. I'm happy to do so if you care to hear it. Tsukino Ame is here. Hi, Tsukino Ame. Welcome. Let's end the poll, shall we? We're going to see who gets to complain and who doesn't get to complain. Have you played all 9 GameCube games currently available for Nintendo Switch Online? If you voted yes, all 9, you're the 24% that are here that voted, you get to complain 100% that it's been 3 months since Nintendo dropped a new GameCube game because you've been waiting for 3 months and you haven't gotten a new one yet, you got to complain. There's still a little asterisk next to the complaint, though, because you're not paying more for it than you were already expansion pack, and you've only gotten more things like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom upgrades, Virtual Boy games, GameCube games. So you get to complain because you played all 9, but there's still a little asterisk next to your complaint because you you got this stuff for free. If you voted no 7 to 8 of them, 5%, you only get to complain a little bit because you played most. You played most. Okay. If you voted no, 5 to 6 of them, 6%. Oof, I don't know if you get to complain because you played just 5 out of the 9, 6 out of the 9. Okay, I'll give you a little nugget. If you voted part of the 65% crowd, no, I only played 1 to 4 out of all freaking 9 GameCube games, you don't get to complain at all because there are 8 other games you didn't touch. 7, 6, 5 games that you didn't even touch. Play some of those, and then you could join the complaining crowd. Boom! That's just real talk. But I'm not interested in that game. I don't care. Don't make me get Bayonetta. You want me to get Bayonetta? I'll get Bayonetta. She'll tell you. Paulinetta, my cousin, doesn't pull back any punches. She'll straight up say, you don't get to complain. But in other ways. Vicious saying, I'm surprised we haven't seen Mario Sunshine yet. Would be a perfect summer game. I think Vicious Sunshine's going to come in August. Part of it is a hope, part of it is a legit thought. I think Pokemon Coliseum will come before the end of this month, and they'll go back to back, satisfy the masses of the GameCube population, and we'll get Sunshine in August to line up with the game's original Nintendo GameCube release. I could be wrong. I just kind of it is hope, but there is some thought in it too, you know. The Polytoad Dojo. I could not remember how many GameCube games I played on NSO. I played at least 4, but I have played them all on the OG GameCube. Right on. SS4 Moogle. Quick question. Which game do you think deserves a full remake first? The original Legend of Zelda or Zelda 2? Also, would the remake be in a similar style as the originals or go all out and go 3D? SS4 Moogle, good question. Deserves, I usually go oldest stuff first. However, The Legend of Zelda had the Legend of Zelda 3D version of it on Nintendo 3DS. So I'm going to go with Zelda 2 because it hasn't gotten a remake, and I think it would be the more interesting, different game to get this like beautiful cel-shaded slash pixelized 2D remake by Way Forward with some awesome cutscenes. And yeah, and then that goes to answer your second question. How would I have it look? I wouldn't have Zelda 2 look like Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild. I'd have it look like, think of how Capcom and Way Forward did the DuckTales remake from NES to Wii U. That kind of attention, yeah, to Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. And if they remade Zelda 1, like HD 2D maybe. Yeah. Or maybe they could go 3D or low poly 3D, something weird, something different. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know about chibi style, just because I don't want Nintendo to overuse chibi style and have that permanently be associated with top-down Zelda games. You know, it worked well for Echoes, following A Link's Awakening, but to have a third one or fourth one, I don't want it to get like New Super Mario Bros. Syndrome, where people get tired of the look, right? Paul, you are actually hilarious. Thank you, Banana, too. Cordy Puddle, I beat Wario World and I'm halfway through Luigi's Mansion. Nice. So you're actually utilizing your NSO. Good job. Actually doing it. Tabby says, I truly think there's enough on NSO that no one should be complaining. Good point. Joyce J, get Bayonetta. You hear that, Bayonetta? They want you. Oh, tell them I will be soon available, maybe in the night time, for a rated mature stream. Well, you heard her. Yes, a late night stream indeed. You can't be there, Paul, but you could take pictures. Pictures? Yes, photographs to capture the memories. Oh boy. Oh boy. You got some some thoughts, don't you? Oh, all sorts of thoughts, Paul. Oh boy, my cousin. My cousin. Woo, Paulinetta. Is Paulinetta coming to chat? Hey, Gamerpunk, welcome. She might. She chimes in now and then, you know. GameCube is one of my all-time favorite consoles. I wish more people bought one back in the day. I agree, Paul. Only 22.5 million people bought a GameCube. It's messed up. It deserved more. Dang it. I hope for DS or 3DS on NSO one day. Hopefully we can get a gamepad or turn the Switch sideways in order to play them. That'd be smart. Turn the Switch sideways, slide in, there you go, done. Easy. Easy enough, you know? And as for TV play, dude, between touchscreen... Okay, not for TV. Between motion control, gyroscope, accelerometer, like analog, dual analog, you can do it. Using Game Share? Come on. Using Game Share? Having your Nintendo Switch 2 in the dock with your OG Nintendo Switch in your hand? Boom! Then now you can emulate Wii U games. I feel like there is just something special about having Zelda 1 on an NES with the 8-bit. Oh my, swoons. Before that happens, yes, Paulinetta, what's up, Gamerpunk? Only played N64 and GameCube on NSO, and the N64 and GameCube Switch 2 controllers make all the difference. Oh, Patty Burke. Dang. It is tough playing some... it is tough playing some Nintendo 64 games without a Nintendo 64 controller. That controller was a 6-button layout. Its Z trigger isn't quite the same as a modern day ZL. Its R is comparable to a modern day ZR, however. But you could get past Z and be like, yeah, Z is fine. It's close enough to L or ZL. It really is. It's just not as close as like R is to R or ZR. Analog stick feels different, but fine. You could get okay with the analog stick. But the lack of 6 face buttons and the iconic symmetry layout of the 6 face buttons does make some of the games a little bit trickier to play without a Nintendo 64 controller. GameCube, you have the 4 face button layout, it's fine. B becomes Y, A becomes B, X becomes A, Y becomes X, but it works. And then you got your R and you got your L. And you only had one Z, so that could be a ZR or ZL, or the Z could be an R and the L and R could be ZL and ZR. Like, it's fine. You got 2 analog sticks, you know. Still, GameCube games, best played, play it with a Nintendo GameCube controller. N64 games, best played with a Nintendo 64 controller. In my opinion, Super Nintendo games, the Pro Controller 2 is basically a Super Nintendo with prongs, right? But there is something satisfying about using the SNES controller. But yeah, Patty Burke, you gotta play the old school games with the old school controllers to get the full experience. But you could get N64 control on the website, yeah. Anyone think we'll get a Game Gear on NSO or DS first? And so I think they could Game Gear they could add to the basic tier. DS, I don't know if there's room for it anymore. Besides getting a third tier, I hope DS. DS is when I became a gamer. Hmm. Good seeing everybody. Welcome each other into the chat. We could do a quick little Famitsu comb over again with Rhythm Heaven Groove doing a whopping 393,000 copies. Goemon on Nintendo Switch with 60,000 compared to Goemon on PlayStation 5 with the 8,000. Big gap. 60,400, 8,700. Wow. And Nintendo Switch 2, good jump up in sales. 32,000 for the week. PS5 with 10,900. Nintendo Switch with 10,700. Xbox Series with 730. They're top notch quality too. I've had no issues with them yet. Yeah, Patty Burke. They're good controllers. They feel super authentic. It's nice having a modern N64 controller with a perfect analog stick because I played the heck out of mine back in the day. It's nice having a cool, clean looking purple GameCube controller. I love it. Gamerpunk, I became a liquid slime. I melted from the summer heat, says Tsukino Ame. Man, Tsukino, is it hot over there? It's 92 over here. I'm not feeling it because I'm indoors, but yeah. David, great here. Good day. What about you? See, I like that. That's why I like. I mean, I like this community. We've got the Polytoad Dojo, Gamerpunk, Tsukino Ame, David Patterson, SS4 Moogle, Patty Burke, 1971, Poke91. Everybody just bouncing all of these hellos back and forth off of one another. It's good to see. What is also good to see is, just in case the stream ends, our contributors of the stream, Joycey J, 69, Banyana 2, Tabby Cat Games, and Roger Enyart all contributing to the stream. Thank you for the 4. We're 60 short of our expansion pack streak, which, I mean, I guess I said good news. The bad news is we'll be using a save file today. I mean, is it really bad news? I mean, we like to not use expansion packs, but hey, that's why we incorporated this strategy so that we wouldn't lose a streak. We're at 48 instead of the streak going to 0 today because we're at 4 of 64. The streak continues. It's still at 48. Doesn't go to 49, but doesn't go to 0. But we do use a save file. And that means we have one save file left. So whatever the next stream is, that won't be the we're done. That will be like basically the last chance. Then the next one after that, that's the one where it's like, is this over? Is this over? I don't know. Technically, the streak did end once, but we pulled that special save. We pulled the manufacturer cloud save data ultimate backup because the following stream was so overwhelmingly awesome that we just negated it. It was at like 256 plus stream. Amazing. It's 94 heat with an heat index of 104. Oh, it's so hot my air conditioner's struggling. Stay hydrated, Suki. It's no joke out there. Please check on elderly over the coming months as temps soar. Good words, Gamerpunk. hate the heat. Heat wave coming in Ohio. Happy late birthday. Late happy birthday. Big thank you, Corey Boehm, for that. I appreciate it. Have you seen the concept of an add-on for the Switch to a second screen that connects to the top using the USB Type-C, making it like a DS? Yeah, I've seen that. Drinking lots of water, air conditioning. What happens when we run out of save files? Then the streak goes to 0. What happens if the streak hits 64? If the streak hits 64, you could imagine good things are going to happen. Charlie Smith. If it ends, then it gets rebooted to 0. So it's a new set, and we just start over. We still have community videos, so every 4, still a community video and stuff like that. So that part doesn't change, but like the increasing number that goes up, that would be done. Same here, nasty weather there. Medically restricted from gaming until Raiders, except for Splatfest. Medically restricted from gaming until Raiders? I don't know why, but I'm sorry to hear that you're medically restricted. I hope it's nothing too rough. But Splatfest this weekend should be fun. And Splatoon Raiders in 2 weeks. Are there any extended family members that we haven't seen yet? We have Paulonetta, the greatest, and Bayonetta. Oh, we have Paul Gale, sorry, the greatest, and Bayonetta / Paulonetta. Who could be next? Who could be next that you all haven't met is Logan. A Logan / Wolverine stream. But that's a special one because Logan, old man Logan, I gotta bust out the gray hair dye, but I don't have to shave. I just need to bust out the gray hair here, and I gotta put on like my tux-like thing. And that's in character, and you get Logan for the stream. Nature made me a freak. Maybe you want a stream led by this guy. Nature made me a freak. Man made me a weapon, and God made it last too long. Nature made me a freak. Man made me a weapon, and God made it last too long. Yeah. That's your Logan right there. Oh, so we haven't run a new poll yet, but we are. It looks like we didn't run a poll, but we had like a soft poll or a soft feedback roundup, I guess, of we are going to have another Paulonetta stream soon. And it could just end up being a double length Paulonetta stream, or we could vote for something else if it's not a double length Paulonetta stream. Yeah, we'll see. PGN, Frozen Shoulder. It's so painful to play right now. Oh, shoot. I have to play Raiders on day 1, though. Okay, so you're struggling in some pain. So you make a little exception to just do a little bit of Splatfest, and then like, okay, back to like really protecting your shoulder for a couple of weeks. Okay. Well, dang, dude. I'm sorry you got that going on. Take whatever precautions you need to take. Heal up, don't get worse, and then yeah, go have some fun with Splatoon Raiders in a couple of weeks, you know? Oh no, I hope you feel better soon, TA. Sadly, it will take a long time to heal. That's still fun. Alrighty, folks. Thank you so much for being here. Between my birthday stream 2 days ago, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess this is my first stream as a 43-year-old. Oh wait, no. The birthday stream was the first stream. It's just the birthday stream was on the birthday. I guess this is the first stream on its own in my new year. For whatever it's worth, I guess. Fun fact, I don't know. I had a good day recently and tried to play Splatoon. I was almost in tears on the first match. Oh man. Sorry to hear that. Thank you for an amazing stream. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Later, friends. When is the next stream? It could be tomorrow. It might be tomorrow morning, but I will most likely be on the podcast tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken, at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We'll see. Bye all and have a great day. 43, you are just a kid. Yeah. I feel young. Real quick before I go. I only became middle-aged when I turned 37. Mentally, I will still think of myself as young, unless if I ever notice a change. But actual age-wise, last time I called myself young, realistically, was 36. Once I turned 37, I was like, I'm mid-aged. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, I think life has 3 chapters. Young, middle-aged, and old. But people's young, middle, old windows could be different from one another. Here's how I look at it. I took my oldest living relative that I knew while she was alive, and that was my great grandma. She lived to 108. I was 15 when she died. I knew her. You know, I remember going to her 100th birthday. I remember exercising on the floor with her when I was 4 or 5 years old. I remember close to when she passed away. So I took 108, and I'm like, that's old. Birth is as young as it gets. So if I take 108 years old, 108 years of age, and I divide that into 3, I'm looking at birth through 36, I'm considered young. 37 through 72, I'm considered middle-aged. 73 to 108, I'm considered old. There's truly young and the older half of being young, which would be like, 18 to 36, but it all classifies as young. There's mid-aged, and then there's younger part of mid-age. I'm in the younger part of being middle-aged right now, I'm 42. I'm barely 6 years into my classification of this middle-aged zone. I will not turn 43. I will not turn older portion of middle age till 53, but it will still be mid-age as a 53-year-old man. 64-year-old man, still be mid-aged. But I will turn old when I turn 73. Younger part of old at 73? Sure. Till I'm 80, it still classifies as old, but the younger half of old. Once I turn, 89, I'm on the older half of being old. So you can really take those 3 divisions and cut each one up into 2 or 3 if you want. So yeah, it's fair. It's fair, and how you eat, exercise, what you don't unnecessarily put in your body, always how to live longer and live a higher quality of life longer. So, I try more than not to, be healthy, to stay around a long time. Alrighty, let me read the last chats, and then I think that's it for our stream. Vicious says, thanks for the stream. Bye all and have a great day, says David Patterson. Bye all, says Patty Burke. Have a great day, Paul, says David. Thanks for the stream as always, I Byzantium. My stepson is 36, says Corey Bone. Pokey, 91 is 35. My daughter just said 73 is not old. You're not old until you're 80. Well, that's pretty good too. SS4 Moogle. That's good. I like that mindset. Besides my wife and kids being here will sustain my quality of life. That's right. The energy of PGN Live will keep everyone young and healthy. See you soon, Paul. See you soon, Corey. Tsukino Ame later, everyone. Later, Tsukino Ame. Bye, Yvonne Francois. Have a great day, everybody. Some of you I will see maybe Friday morning. If there is the podcast tomorrow night, then I should see you Friday night. I don't know exactly. Otherwise, dang it, we're gonna have a Bayonetta stream soon. Okay, we will. And then there's Monday morning too. Okay. I'm thinking some thoughts. Take care, everybody.